The man who took my money, he wasn't a scammer. And that's exactly why I lost about $2,000 on a costume purchase. Because here's what nobody tells you about losing money in this hobby. There are more traps out there than I could fit into 10 videos, but nearly all of the money disappears down one of these 3 traps. Nothing arrives, the wrong thing arrives, or the right thing arrives but for somebody else's body. I've been doing this for about 10 years and I run a channel about it, and it still got me twice. So today, all 3 traps, how they actually work, and the ways to protect yourself from every single one of them.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
In April 2019, a small prop making company in Europe is building first order Stormtrooper Armour. Now I'm not going to name them, I'll just call them DP. And if you're one of the people that was burnt by them, you'll be able to connect the dots. And this was proper vacuum formed ABS, real molds, real workshop, real progress photos. Now I paid for a full kit, so had 2 of my friends, and so had buyers across 3 continents. About 10 orders, all paid up front. The owner set up a messenger group for all of us. And I want to be really clear about this, I don't believe this started as a scam. This was a bloke with a dream and a vacuum former, and for a while it looked like he was actually going to pull it off. We jumped in to get a Force Awakens kit. Do you recall why you wanted to go for that character? What made that so important?
Well, I have a New Hope Stormtrooper, an original TK, and it's just the newer, cooler kit on the block. It's just such an in-depth kit, and it just looked really good on the screen.
I found the First Order Stormtrooper came in with a bit more bravado, a little bit more fun aggression, telling people where they need to go, or hurrying them up, and there was a little bit more interaction with people, and I found that to be a really fun character to play, which is why I was really keen to do a First Order Stormtrooper kit.
The initial videos and pictures and messages we got he seemed inept at what he was doing, and seemed like we were going to get these kits very quickly.
And the photos, they kept coming. Molds, test pools, messages about being almost done, and he's on to the last parts. We weren't just a list of customers, we were an invested little community, and we wanted this build to succeed. When he got a rash from the epoxy resin, we told him to look after himself. And when he was in hospital, we told him family comes first, the armour, it can wait. We were lenient, we were patient, but looking back, I think maybe a little bit too patient.
The initial things that soured me was when he was having issues with using the epoxy without what I would have considered appropriate PPE.
And on June 6, 2019, he posts a photo. 4 hours of work had been done. And that's the last update the group ever gets. 8 days of silence, and then the buyers start asking, where's he gone? Has he disappeared? And then the first chargeback, then a month of nothing. By August, one buyer is tallying the damage, his deposit, and plus, I quote, lots of thousands across the group. All of us paid in full, and that's kind of crazy. Like, you wouldn't normally tell anybody to do that.
It's almost similar to where my first TK came from, which was a major American vendor, that you would put down the money, they would run a program for a certain amount of time, and then you would get your kits several months later, even years later for some of these kits, but that was an official licensed Lucas product.
Well, what do? What's our recourse here? How do we get money back? Can we get refunds?
But a lot of the overseas boys went into damage control mode, basically. It was, how do we recoup? How did we pay? Is there ability to get money back through those kind of venues? And the cruelest bit, for most of us, the PayPal window, it had already closed. He didn't need to outrun the law, he just needed to outrun 180 days. And I want to be honest about what that actually costs, because it's not just the dollar figure. The money's real, most of us, we're not rich, and that money, it's coming out of a household budget. And then there's that conversation that you have to have at home, explaining to your partner that the money's gone and there's no armour coming. And that one's hard, and it's embarrassing. Do you recall how much you put down on the kit? Honestly, I don't really like to remember how much we were fleeced at that stage. It would have been between about 15 to 1700, 1800, I believe.
That could have gone towards car insurance, rates, electricity bills. And so having to have that awkward conversation with my wife was very difficult.
It was a big toll financially, but also that emotional, I'm not getting this kit that I've been looking forward to so much. I haven't bought another kit since then. So I don't know if that has forced me to be a little bit more wary of where I've been looking for future kits. And so when it collapses, it's not just the wallet that takes a hit, it's the trust. You replay every conversation, you feel embarrassed and you feel stupid. And that right there,
That's why people don't talk about this stuff, which is exactly why the same traps keep working year after year on person after person. And I can already hear some of my fellow members. Mate, this could be a 30-second video. Don't buy secondhand, read the CRL, use PayPal, done.
See, you guys, you never listened to me. I said that there was going to be trouble, but you didn't listen to me.
And you know what? They're right, that is the advice. But here's the problem. That advice that's been pinned to the top of community forums since 2012. 14 years, 462 replies, garrisons repeat it constantly. And people lose money every single month anyway. Because nobody thinks the warning's for them. It's a "it won't happen to me" thing, right up until it actually happens to you. And it happened to me, and I read all of the warning posts. So no, I'm not here to repeat the rules. I'm here to show you the 3 machines that take most of the money. And they're not the only ones out there, but once you've seen how these 3 work from the inside, you'll see the rest coming too. And you know what, while we're at it, if you've been burnt buying a costume, put it in the comments. What happened? Roughly what it cost you. I read every one, and your comment might end up saving someone from losing some money.
It's a trap!
Trap 1 is the slow collapse. You pay up front, the delays start, and the delays outlast your refund rights. And that's what DP was. And if you think this only happens with the small garage makers, it happens at the very top of the hobby. Anovos, the officially licensed maker of Star Wars armour. Lucasfilm license, big convention booths, the works. In 2019, they were hit with a multi-million-dollar class action. The lawsuit alleged that they'd taken upfront payment on hundreds, if not thousands of pre-orders that never shipped. The lead plaintiff said that he'd paid over $40,000 US and got nothing.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
And what happened in the end? Even the lawsuit couldn't fix it. In March 2020, the court let every claim against Anovos stand. It wasn't persuaded by the excuses about shipping dates. Disney and Lucasfilm were dismissed from the case. In 2021, Anovos effectively ceased operations. A new company called De Nuevo Novo took over the digital assets, manufacturing molds, and the Lucasfilm licensing rights. The case ended in 2021 without a payout for the class, according to the community. The named plaintiffs settled out and everybody else was left waiting. De Nuevo Novo offered to fulfill many of the waiting Star Wars orders, and to be fair, some of those kits actually arrived, and in some cases more than 5 years after the money left. So you see the pattern? A license is what made people trust them, but official doesn't mean safe. And every month the pre-order drags on, your protections tick away. Credit card chargebacks, roughly 6 months. PayPal, 180 days. The delay isn't just annoying, the delay is the mechanism. And that's when nothing shows up. Now the second trap is worse in a way, because the box actually does arrive. Trap 2 is the junk kit. You get your armour, it's just that the armour will never ever pass approval. Search eBay or Etsy for Stormtrooper Armour right now and you'll find listings screaming that 5 are first approvable. The community's own assessment of those marketplace kits, 99% recast. Copies of copies, soft details, warped plastic, wrong dimensions. The listing tells you this armour can get you into the 5 first, but the truth is often very different. These listings are misleading, the kits aren't screen accurate and they're not going to get you approved. It's not always a stranger on eBay though. My second burn, around $800 to someone I considered a friend, for what turned out to be a soft pull.
You were my brother, Anakin!
Blurry details, unusable for approval. And believe me, I tried. I tried really hard to complete that build. Hours and hours of sanding, filling, problem solving. But it was never going to happen. Some kits, they just can't be saved no matter how much work you throw at them. And here's the detail that stings the most. Both of my burns, the DP order and this kit, were the same costume, First Order Stormtrooper. Now I love that character, I'd still love to troop this one, but I just can't bring myself to go through that pain again. And here's the kicker, even the licensed retail costumes fall into this trap. That off-the-shelf Supreme Edition Stormtrooper, legal and official. But as per the community, it's not approvable without a lot of extra work and money. Which brings us to the trap that's catching people out in my own garrison, as recently as this year. Trap 3 is the second-hand kit, and this one hurts because on paper it looks like the smart move. It's potentially cheaper, and the costume was 501st approved, or at least it was for the person selling it. It looks like the easy road straight to approval. And here's what makes this one a little bit complicated. The seller is often a member of your own garrison, selling it in good faith, doing nothing wrong on their end, maybe even a friend. So when the kit turns out to be not approvable, or needs a mountain of work, that's a hard thing to deal with on both sides. So what actually goes wrong? Well, 2 things. Bodies and time. So let's talk about bodies first. Approved armour is trimmed, cut and strapped to fit the person who built it. Buy a kit for someone that's 6'2" and well, I hope you're 6'2". This year in my own garrison, a new member bought multiple second-hand kits against direct advice, and the fit on one of them was so far off that the leadership's honest assessment was that it might not be realistically modifiable at all. Now, if you start hacking a wrong size kit apart to force it, you can kill it completely. So not only then does it not fit you, you also can't resell it. In these situations, the recoverable move is always to sell it on intact and put the money towards the right kit. But by the time people learn that, they've actually already got the Dremel out. And the second gotcha is time. CRLs, they change. The costume reference library, it's a living document, and the details are often getting revised. A kit that sailed through approval in 2019 can quietly stop matching the current standard. So it was approved before? That's not a guarantee. It's a photo of a costume matching a rulebook that may no longer exist, on a body that isn't yours. Right, so those were the big 3 traps. Now here's how you walk past them and most of the smaller ones while you're at it. Now that we've covered how the money can disappear, how do you make sure that this doesn't happen to you? Well, 6 things. And I wish someone had sat me down with this list 10 years ago, it would have saved me thousands. Firstly, and most importantly, ask your garrison before you pay. And this is the big one, and almost nobody does it. Reach out to your garrison's GML team or the forums. See if someone knowledgeable will pre-inspect a kit that you're considering, photos, listing, the lot. The people who will judge your costume will happily tell you in advance whether it can pass. It's a bit of a cheat code and it defeats every trap in this video. And ask the seller to put a hold on the kit while you get that confirmation. Now you've got to keep the time frame fair, after all they want to sell the thing, but it takes a lot of the risk out for you. Whatever you do, it's important not to buy emotionally. Think first, get the right advice before you lay out any money. Secondly, ask the detachment forum before you pay. Whatever costume you're building, there's a detachment full of people who know every legitimate maker and every recaster. Now the 501st itself can't recommend one vendor over another officially, and that's just not something the Legion does. But the expertise of the membership, that can absolutely help you, and it's there for the asking. You just have to ask before the money moves, not after. 3, pay like a pessimist. PayPal goods and services, never friends or family. And make sure you understand your claim windows. For an item that never arrives, it's 180 days from the day you paid, not from when it's due. And here's something that most people don't know. If a dodgy kit does arrive, you may have as little as 30 days from delivery to claim it's not as described. Card chargebacks, it's roughly 6 months. And don't pay 100% upfront if you can possibly avoid it. A maker who wants everything before anything exists is asking you to carry all the risk. If a pre-order is going to run past your protection window, that's not a red flag, that's the whole trap. 4 is check the current CRL. If you're buying second-hand, find out what year the kit was approved in, not just get their word that it was approved once. Once you have the year that the kit was originally approved, you'll have a feel for whether or not the CRL's changed a lot since then. Make sure you open the CRL as it reads today and compare piece by piece. If the standard's moved, you're not buying a finished costume, you're buying a modification project, and you should price it like one. And 5, and this is another one if you're buying second-hand, make sure you match it to your body. Ask what height and build it was fitted to. And better yet, try the kit on before you buy it. If it's swimming on you, you're looking at a lot of work to get it sized to your body. And if you're not confident doing that work yourself, you could be wasting your time and throwing money down the drain.
Everything burns.
And what's worse, once you start making changes, a kit that could have been approved on someone else might end up unsellable. If it's not close to your size, walk away. And if you've already bought wrong, I'd really consider reselling it intact. Do not cut it. 6 is to reverse image search the listing. Recasters and fake sellers steal legitimate makers' photos constantly. 30 seconds and it catches more scams than any gut feeling ever will. And did you notice something? These steps don't cost you anything. The entire defense against a hobby's worth of financial disasters is mostly asking first. Now, I don't want to scare you off from buying secondhand costumes. I've done this in the past and I've had really good success with it. But what I did was I made sure I reduced my risk by researching first. I didn't lose thousands because this hobby is expensive. I lost thousands because I paid before I asked. Every burn in this video, both of mine included, is the same story. The money moved first, the questions came second. Ask first. That's it. If you found this video useful, a like and subscribe genuinely helps. It's how the algorithm gets us in front of the next person who's about to hand over their money. And with that, as always, may those costuming gods be with you.